Okay, Galactic Challenges 4, I think. Oh, that sounds like my dog in the hallway. Empire versus First Order. So you'll see that I'll try Empire like on auto to see if it works. It really doesn't. You kind of have to do it on manual, and then you'll see I'll just muscle through. So you can absolutely muscle through it. No problem. But then later on, you'll see that I'll actually try to play it properly with Empire. So I'm sure most of you have heard Chadwick fucking Boseman died. That's terrible. Terrible. Poor bastard was 43 or 42 years old. That is awful. Awful. Colon cancer. Cancer is a fucking bitch. Yeah, I am genuinely saddened by that. I mean, he was a pretty classy guy. Denzel Washington actually paid for his tuition to like acting school without even knowing him really. I forget the full story, but yeah, Chadwick Boseman's acting schooling was paid for by Denzel, and this is before he was famous. I'm pretty sure that was Chadwick. Yeah, it was. So really sad. Obviously, Jackie Robinson in 42 and T'Challa Black Panther. Yeah, very, very sad stuff. And he was supposed to, he was actually hired, I think, to play Yasuke, which is the story of the only known African retainer of Daimyo Nobunaga during what is basically Japan's medieval time, 16th century, but it was a time of shogun, daimyo, samurai, all that stuff. So it's a true story. There actually was a missionary. I think he was a Portuguese or Spanish missionary from Mozambique that was brought to Japan, and ended up being a samurai retainer for the daimyo, which is pretty fucking incredible. True story. And Chadwick, at least according to some news articles that I'd been checking out previously, because obviously samurai are my thing. But Chadwick was supposed to play Yasuke, and that would have been really good. Chadwick was really good in Five Bloods too. And like I said, he was a pretty classy guy. And he was a great example for many people. I don't think that anyone really could say anything negative about the guy, which can't be said for many people in Hollywood, quite frankly. So, yeah, definitely a tremendous and tragic loss at a criminally young age. So, that's terrible. And supposedly he filmed, each of the last 3 or 4 or 5 movies that he was in between surgeries and chemo sessions. So talk about a fucking trooper. So yeah, that's pretty terrible and sobering news. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. As if 2020 could be or needed to be any worse of a fucking year than it already was. 2019 was a really bad year for me personally, but 2020 has just been absolutely awful for everyone. I mean, what else could fucking go wrong in 2020. By the way, so this is the full Empire comp that, or no, it's not. I apologize. I still have IPD in here. IPD usually gets rocked. But yeah, this is more or less the comp to do it. I always fracture crew at the open, and basically just let Vader do his thing. Yeah, so 2020 really cannot get fucking worse. I mean, I guess it could, God forbid, but it's been pretty fucking bad. So that's that. Yeah, yeah, pretty terrible. Outside of that, Hurricane Laura, pretty bad. Definitely not as bad as people had initially feared, so silver lining. Still, many people's homes and properties were destroyed. A few people died, so yeah. There have been a lot more hurricanes in quick succession and a little bit earlier than normal this year. So anyone that thinks that we're not slowly destroying the planet and changing weather patterns, you might want to take a look at this thing called science. Normally October, November I think is the end of it, but certainly October is generally like the worst month of it. Don't get me wrong, their hurricane season is from like June or May or June to October or beginning of November even, but I don't know, it just feels like we're getting a lot more lately, or maybe I'm just paying more attention to it, or a little bit of both, but certainly seems as though the Earth does not really want us here for a whole lot longer between these mutated, novel diseases, and I don't know, man. Yeah. So this is actually the winning comp, DT. I actually forgot to relic my DT-25, so I end up having to do one of the battles twice. But this is the easiest way I found to cleanly beat this Galactic challenge while accomplishing the feats. That death mark doesn't hurt, because then you can actually get like an extra one in there almost. Yeah, I haven't 7-starred my Piet yet. I'm trying not to vault, trying desperately not to vault. I am 6 stars and change. Yeah, I forgot to relic 3 my fucking DT. But then I'll do an undersized one, and then I'll go back and do the other shit. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of footage and screenshots of Piet, and he looks awesome. Again, still not totally sure why he has an Imperial Trooper tag, but I've heard and seen that he slots in well on an Empire counter or a Vader counter to Galactic Legends. I've seen him slot in well on these Galactic challenges. It's a good kit. It is a good kit. I have not really seen much of anything with him and Imperial Troopers, although I'm sure he helps out there. I'm just not totally sure who you replace. I mean, theoretically, you could run Imperial Troopers without a tank if they're geared and modded and, well, reliced properly. If they're fast enough, you theoretically don't need a tank on an Imperial Troopers team, so you could theoretically run Veers, Stark, Piet, range, and then take your pick of DT or Snow Trooper. If they're all modded properly and they are powerful enough that they can take somebody out, get the train going, you really don't need a tank to soak up very much. So yeah, I don't have relic Veers or Stark, so I will not be trying that out until and unless I need them for the new Palpatine Galactic Legend, because there's still another 10 characters that we haven't or are going to see within the next few weeks or so. But yeah, so here you go. Finally, Relic 5, my DT, and there you go.